Good morning. Well, the biggest resource of any country is not gold, not diamonds, not oil, not water. Yes, each one of them is important, but the most important is the human resources. And the human resources are a continuous one. Today's children are going to develop into the citizens of tomorrow, and it is those children who will become the citizens that will make or mar the country. And any government that fails to take cognizance of this fact, and any country, any government, any community that fails to look after its children negates itself, is responsible for the downfall of that country. I was very happy that recently the government, both at the federal and the provincial level, Ontario, woke up to the fact that Canada is at the lowest level in OECD countries as far as child care is concerned. And when we talk of child care, we talk of affordable child care. If we compare all the OECD countries, Canada in particular, and Ontario especially, are at the lowest rung of the ladder. They do not provide affordable child care. They do not effectively address the challenge that this poses to any government. And so they woke up ultimately and came up with some proposals. It was June the 6th, exactly 1 month back, that the Ontario government renewed its early years and child care policy framework. They set out a 5-year plan, and then it presumed to add 100,000 license spots for the child care under the age of 4. Next 5 years, the province plans to spend $1.6 billion and create 45,000 out of the 100,000 spaces promised by the year 22. The whole plan includes increasing funding to help families who qualify, making it affordable for the home cares to become licensed, looking for ways and means to make childcare more equitably priced, and launch of an innovation fund to help families understand and navigate the system. Few days passed, and Justin Trudeau said that he should follow Kathleen Wynne, and they introduced multilateral early learning childcare framework, which is a 3-year plan to allocate $435 million only for Ontario. So the Ontario gets $1.6 billion of its own and $435 million. And the federal initial funds to provide to high-need families, on and off-reserve Indigenous people, recent immigrants, amusingly refugees, children with sport needs, and from low-income families. Unfortunately, both the plans, in spite of very grandiose figure of approximately $2 billion in the next 5 years, they are not transformational. None of the plans creates a universal or a geared up child care system for the families in Ontario. None of them. They do have impressive language, They do have visionary ideas, but lack implementation details. How the plan would be funded and when it would be implemented. They say that by 22 they'll have 45,000 new spaces. How? How, when, where? These are the crucial words that are lacking in the plan. As I said earlier, neither the federal plan nor the provincial plan are transformational. And amazingly, the provincial Ontario plan does not include a funding plan, how it plans to pay for the changes. They say get 1.6 billion from, but to get 1.6 billion from where? And okay, you have got this largest, I suppose God is going to drop 1.6 billion in the lap of Kathleen Wynne. Then how the funds will be allocated? Under what heads? In which areas? Would they be concentrated in Toronto and GTA as usually happens? Would it go to hinterland? Would it go to north, which needs them badly? Would it go to indigenous people more? The whole thing is left hanging in the air. The plan does not indicate the implementation. The only thing they say is it will be implemented from 2018. And why 2018? Because there's an election year. So the whole plan has been made to hoodwink people with the hope that in the election year they are swayed by the plan. They think how concerned the government is about the child care, that they allocate 100,000 new spaces, 1.6 billion, and add to that 450 billion, 435 million from the federal government, so about 2 billion. As a matter of fact, Quebec spends already $2.5 billion on its child care program. So what Ontario plans to do is nothing exceptional. And yet they have not told from where they get the money, how they want to spend the money, what are the different heads. There's absolutely no suggestion even. And then the second thing, both the plans, the federal and the provincial, are at odds with each other. They are conflicting about identification of the people who would be impacted by the plan. While the provincial plan suggests that all the families will get the benefit of future investment, federal framework is targeted at some selected families, not at all the families. Refugees, new immigrants, like that. The vote bank that the federal government has consistently tried to create. The very fact that both the plans are opposing in detail shows that none of the plans will be implemented because there will be bureaucratic hassles in the interpretation. You know, the families living in Ontario, the issue of universality is extremely important. A family with 2 working parents earning an average wage spends almost a quarter of their net income per month on the child care. And the family is not able to qualify the municipal child care because the subsidies are above the cut-off limit. They find their income not sufficient enough to look after the child care, and as a result, the children are under the care of unqualified child care workers. Unlicensed, unqualified, incompetent. And when such people take care of the children, what sort of upbringing the children would have? And what sort of future citizenry would you have? This is something which is quite perplexing. And when the child care fees are unaffordable, what happens? Families learn to make compromises. And then compromise can be one parent, and it's very often the female, opts out of the labor market and starts working part-time. They look for the other childcare options, including parent, as I said earlier, placing children in unlicensed units, where we have seen even in some cases deaths have taken place. So they purposely keep the income low to get the subsidies. And when they keep the income low, they are a burden on the welfare funds. So this is a vicious circle. They keep the income purposely low to get benefit of the welfare and the subsidies, and the excessive burden on the subsidies keeps them poor. As a matter of fact, this is something which has to be seen in a proper manner. If the federal and the provincial government want to assure affordable, high quality, fully inclusive child care available to all the families who need it, then they need to create policies. And the policies have to be created using evidence-based policy decision making. It should have a targeted, subsidy-based approach, which is not effective. At present, till now, the whole approach to the child care is subsidy-based. And that defeats the very purpose of the child care. It's contradictory to the human endeavor. Human beings want to earn more, and here they have to crush their desire to earn less. I agree, it's very difficult to create affordable, accessible child care because the whole system is market-based. Child care is not a commodity that should be the subject of a market-based system. It has to be taken as a service, as important or more important than hydro, water supply, health care. The direction of the Ontario plan might be right, but as I said, it's not transformational. And the federal government has to come with a plan that aids the Ontario plan, not contradicts it. When you put riders in the plan, then you are basically cutting off all the benefits. The federal government should have made a plan which is supporting the provincial government plan with a purpose, which even Ontario plan needs to make it more accessible, safer, and affordable, instead of creating a system which is restrictive and targets funding which may reduce its overall effectiveness, and deliverables may not be what we want. Now imagine the system which is prevailing in Quebec. I fail to understand why, when a system which has been proved to be successful in one province cannot be adopted in the other province. Where is the need to reinvent the wheel? Quebec system involves funding easily. Every child parent pays a certain set of fee per day. So this is much simpler than the center fees. Family income, employment status, and the number and the age of the children, which are used to determine the subsidy rate in Ontario. So how many children you are is immaterial, but they pay the fee per day. and the jurisdictions supporting it have to ensure to make childcare more accessible, affordable throughout the province. And that is functioning very well. We do not have in Quebec the sort of the issues that crop up in Ontario, primarily for the reason that they are having plans which are not election based, which are not the creation of a motive to create an atmosphere to show and hoodwink people. They are meant to serve people. They are meant to ensure that children upbringing is not a matter of party affiliation, party discipline, a party winning or losing the election. The whole thing is pertinent to upbring a child in an affordable, responsible manner to make them responsible citizens of tomorrow. If Quebec can do it, why can't Ontario? If Quebec can do it, why not the federal government? Do they think that if they just adopt that system, their credibility would decrease? No, it would not. Let them wake up to their responsibility and do what is required rather than just try to hoodwink people and create shoddy systems which are at best band-aid solutions rather than the real solutions. Thank you.